Hello and welcome to today's video where I show you 10 ways on how to overcome writer's block. Before we start, who am I to tell you how to overcome writer's block? Well, I'm Thomann. And I play guitar since I'm 9 years old, and I write songs since I'm 14 years old. That's quite some time. I was in a couple of bands, and in every band I was always either the main songwriter or the co-songwriter with at least 50% input from my end. Some of my latest references are all the Nightbearer records and the latest Burden of Grief record, where I also contributed half the songs. I also write jingles for some YouTube channels whenever they ask me to do so. So I've written lots of songs. What does writer's block mean? Well, writer's block means that you want to write a song, but somehow you can't. You feel that you are not able to write anything. Whenever I run into it, and believe me, I do run into writer's block, I have basically 10 ways on how I can overcome it. And sometimes I use a variety, sometimes I use just one. Anyhow, in no particular order, here are they. Number 1, write more. It sounds counterintuitive when I say write more, when you can't write in the first place, but it basically means that you have to get the shitty ideas out of your head, because when you've written them, they aren't there anymore and you can focus on the good stuff. It's an easy equation: more riffs, more good stuff. Let's say that 90% of the stuff you write is bad. That means 10% is at least decent. Now, let's say you have 100 ideas. That means 90% are bad, but 10% are decent. 10 ideas are decent. When you only have 10 ideas, or you only write 10 things, just one of them might be good and the other 9 are rubbish. So don't be afraid to throw away stuff that you don't like. When you keep on writing, eventually you will come up with some good stuff. Number 2, limit yourself. Sometimes less is more. This means when you limit yourself, or basically challenge yourself, you can come up with unique ideas. This can mean anything. Basically, create a melody using only 3 notes, create a melody only using 1 string, write in a specific key, in a specific style, or use a specific technique. Maybe tapping, maybe legato, whatever. Just down to picking, economic picking, write something with sweeping. You get the idea. Number 3, change tunings. I write most of my stuff on my 7-string guitars, which are in standard tuning, B, E, A, D, G, B, E. But occasionally, when I run out of ideas, I change tunings. The easiest way is to go from the standard tuning to a drop tuning. And actually, 2 songs of the new Nightbearer record, Defiance, are in drop A. You don't have to limit yourself to just drop tunings. I also, about a year ago, switched one of my 6-string guitars to a dead get tuning, and I came up with lots of songs in this particular tuning because I had to think differently, I had to try out stuff, and then some beautiful melodies came out. You can even go crazier and go for open C tuning or create your own tuning. Really doesn't matter, just change it. You can also just change the pitch significantly. For instance, you go from standard E tuning to a standard B tuning or a standard A tuning, because the shift in sound will also create new inspiration, basically. Number 4, change the instrument. If you're writing exclusively on the electric guitar, well, maybe you should change the instrument and try a different instrument. This can be either a really close relative, for instance the acoustic guitar, and you can even go one step further and ditch your pick and just use your fingers, or if you have it, you can use a keyboard, or well, you can use drums and try to write something with drums, or even with the bass you come up with unique approaches because of the different playing styles. You can also use really unique instruments. I, for instance, purchased this Ron Rocco a while ago, and because of the approach of this instrument, it has 10 strings, 5 chords. I come up a totally different tuning. I come up with new ideas. And a little pro tip here, you don't have to stick with the instrument you're choosing. You can just use it to get the initial idea and then switch over to your main instrument to write from there. Number 5, take breaks. Sometimes going away from music helps to clear the mind and then come back fresh and start over, and then the inspiration will come. When you think you don't have a breakthrough, you don't know what else to do, well, maybe do some housework or go for a walk, hit the gym, or if you want to stay closer to music, work on a different song. This helps me especially when I'm kind of stuck on one song. I switch over to another song and write from there. Sometimes I have up to 5 or 6 ideas that I switch constantly and keeping the mind fresh. Or you can simply practice. This forces you to stay with your instrument, but you do other stuff, and sometimes when you're bored of practice or you try something, some exercise or so, you come up with a unique lick or riff or whatever, and then you can start again songwriting. Number 6, get inspiration. By inspiration, I don't mean that you should listen to your favorite artist that makes music in the same genre as you, but listen to a totally different genre and hear what the people are doing there. I, for instance, love to listen to video game soundtracks or game soundtracks, that's the same, movie soundtracks or soundtracks for series, to hear unique approaches, unique melodies, and then I try to implement them in my own style. What you also can do, however, I hope you understand me correct, you can basically copy an idea from your favorite artist or whatever you see, and then try to beat it. Well, let's say you have a lead part and a rhythm part that you've copied from your favorite band. I would mute the lead part and then come up with another lead part. That has nothing to do with the initial one, I just try to beat it. I try to come up with something better. When I have this, I mute the rhythm part and try to come up with another rhythm part. That, of course, complements my lead part. And boom, you have the lead part, you have the rhythm part, and they're your own. They might have a slight resemblance in the initial idea you've copied, but you haven't copied it at all. Number 7, learn theory. We all know the musicians that claim that they don't know any theory at all, but the truth is, theory helps us to write. Because with theory, you know what sounds good and you know what you should do. This means I know my scales, I know what motives are, for instance, I know about modulation, I know about harmony, and I can use all this stuff whenever it's needed. For instance, motivic writing is a huge staple in my repertoire, and most of the time I can overcome writer's block by using motives. And of course, know the rules to break the rules. I know my theory, but occasionally I say, well, okay, in music theory, normally this chord would have to come, but I use something completely different. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Number 8, change your sound. Inspiration comes from sound as well. So when you change your sound, maybe you use a different amp, you use a different pedal, you don't have the same sound all the time, you have a new sound, and this can be quite inspiring. I, for instance, use an HM2 driven chainsaw sound when I write for Nightbearer, but for Burden of Grief I use a rather generic sound, but occasionally I switch it up, I use a clean amp and then I put some disgusting fuzz pedal in front of it. And this is so inspiring that I have to change my playing style because otherwise it wouldn't sound good. And then I come up with new stuff. What you also can do is you can add time-based effects, for instance delay or reverb to your sound, because this helps a lot to come up with unique ideas. Just remember U2, it's a huge part of their sound, or when we stay in the metal context, Amorphous are using the delays quite a bit. And what you also can use is a whammy pedal to come up with new sounds that are really inspiring. Number 9. Use a collab partner. Sometimes you're really stuck, and it actually helps when you have a co-writer that you can bounce ideas on and off. You can also get another set of ears that tells you, well, this part sucks, this part is good, I would change this, and so on. And you can also focus on your strength. My strength, for instance, is it to write riffs and melodies, and I come up with arrangements of parts. Micha, Nightbearer's vocalist, he has also a strength, and this is arranging parts. So he says, well, we should use this and the verse part, and then should come this part, this is the chorus, and then this part, and then you could do this. And we combine our strength to write a piece that we couldn't have come up with on our own. What's also really nice is when your collab partner has an idea, might be just a simple melody or just one riff, and it inspires you to write more and make a whole song out of it. Or what I do with Apex Rising, I typically come up with a rough structure of a song with some riffs and melodies, and then I send it over to Aaron. Aaron implements vocals to it, and his vocal melodies inspire me to write more parts, or maybe writing parts that do fit his lines even more. And again, this helps. Number 10, maybe the most controversial one, but hear me out, use AI tools. With AI tools, I don't mean you should let an AI write your song, but AI tools can significantly help to produce quick ideas and basically keep the flow. I, for instance, use, well, it's not an AI tool, but I use MIDI drum grooves. I just click through some grooves, and when I find something that sounds really cool, I drag and drop it into my session and write over it a part. After I finished the songs, I have lots of different MIDI grooves, but my drummer, Manuel in most cases, he comes up with his own parts. And now it's basically his problem if he whether he wants to copy the part or change it just slightly, or if you want to come up with something completely different that even fits the part even more and complements it. What I also like to use is Scala. This is no advertisement, but Scala is basically a program that helps you find chords that sound good. It's not saying you use this and doesn't write the melodies, but it just makes suggestions. And well, basically I have this chord, A minor, and I want to have a specific scale, and then I come up with 2 or 3 other chords, and then I hit the suggestion button, and then Scala comes up with, I think, 8 chords that could fit. I might have come up with 2 or 3 of those chords on my own, but the other 5 or 6 I would have never imagined to use, and now Scala says me, well, you could use this. I try them, and maybe they suck, I don't like them, or maybe I think, whoa, that's really cool. This is how I use AI tools to help me write songs. Well, and there you have it. Those are 10 tips on how I overcome writer's block, and I'm pretty sure those should help most of you as well. And I'm curious, what do you think of those 10 tips? And do you have more tips on how to overcome writer's block? Write them down in the comment section. And if you want to support me, well, you can always click on the links in the description below, or you can become a YouTube member, or both. And with this being said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. May the power protect you, and have a nice day.